Hey, all you THPers, Michael Vrska, vgolfman from social media, doing a what's in the bag. So super excited to talk about my clubs for 2023, what I'm gaming. We'll get into some nitty gritty details and some shafts and everything that goes into my bag. We'll start with the big stick. I am playing a Paradigm driver, fairly off the shelf. Neutral standard setting. I do have the weight APW all the way over in the heel. I'd like to play a fade with the driver. So interesting, most people think, wouldn't you want to go the other way? This way I feel like I can open the face and release it hard and still not let it go left, but keep the face generally square. Sounds a bit different, maybe backwards to some of you, but it works for me. It's one of those things where you sometimes need to get a little trial and error. I like to see the face open. I like to see the face shut. So that's the combo that happens to work for me. Gamer shaft this year is a Ventus Blue TR 60S. My swing speed generally would fall in the X category on virtually every chart on earth. I tend to not like things that feel very stiff. So the shaft's fairly low torque, so it kind of gives that a little bit stiffer feel. So if I go up to X Flex, it'd be a little bit more than I would prefer. All of my grips are Golf Pride Z cord. I definitely like something that's a little more aggressive. It's something I've liked my whole life, so definitely stick with that. With the Z cord now, these have two wraps of tape. Again, something a little different. I have pretty small hands. I use standard medium gloves, but I like two wraps of tape. Why? Because it feels right. I feel like I can maintain grip pressure. The data doesn't really show, some people think, oh, you need small grips, you want to turn it over, bigger grips if you want to hit a fade. It's certainly possible. Maybe some players have that differentiating mark, but most of the data we see is much more about finding the right feel for you, the right size where you can maintain grip pressure. I do have this really cool Travis Matthew head cover. I think it's from 2019. It's new to me this year with my green and yellow setup. Very Mastersy coming up soon, but I'll use this setup all year. 3-wood is another standard Paradigm. This is in a -1 degree though, so I have the 15 degree at -1, so down 14 helps me with my gapping. Graphite design DI7S in the 3-wood, so 60 gram in the driver, 70 in the Fairwood. You're going to see that escalate. That weight gets heavier and heavier throughout the set. Well, I'll talk a little bit more about that. Z-cord grip. This one's at 43 inches. Driver's at 45 1/4, a little bit short, kind of half inch to a 1/4 inch short across the board there. Something I feel comfortable with. Feel like I can hit the center of the face, but still keeping as long as possible to maximize club head speed. So, I hear some people talk about going to 43, 44 inches. There are some players who might do better with something really short. What we find is a vast majority give up too much club head speed. They get a little more consistent on face impact, but not significantly so. Think about your 9-iron. Your 9-iron's really short, probably 36 inches plus or minus a smidge there. And you probably don't have a tiny dime-sized tour-esque wear pattern on your 9-iron. So even if you go really short, that doesn't guarantee center impact. Now, you don't want to go too long where it gets all over the face. You do want to keep it central is important. So again, this is what works for me. So just a tiny bit, again, half to a 1/4 inch shorter. Next is my unicorn, my rocket ship unicorn. This is the Apex UW. I'm at 17 degrees. Now I'm actually 3/4 of an inch short on this, not for center face contact, but get the gapping right. So I really love this when I hit it, trying to get the ball flight a little bit lower, something I hit off the tee as well as I can tend to hit the ball plenty high. So I want to go 17, something I could control and get down off the tee, but still have plenty of height for my club delivery into green. So this is a Project X Hazardous Smoke Black in 80 grams. So 60, 70, 80, continue to escalate that weight, get a little bit higher. But this is probably my favorite club in the bag right now. Absolutely love it. Specifically asked for this head cover for Christmas because this is, believe it or not, I go pin seeking with this thing. Really, really great golf club. Next in the bag is my 4 hybrid. The hybrid was it was out for a brief period of time for a 4-iron. and then the hybrid went back in. The reason that I took it out is I am an Arcos user. I'm a big believer in data in my obviously my job, but also just in my own golf game. This has helped me with some data. And I found that my 4-iron, while it was great off the tee, I was actually not great so much some of the other ways. Certainly hit some good shots, but from a strokes gain perspective was down. So the hybrid came back in the bag. This is the hybrid was using for a while, was out again, back in. This is a 4 hybrid. This is actually bent a little strong. This is 1 degree flat. This is a KBS Tour Prototype 95S, so 60, 70, 80, 95. Jumping up. This one is just a touch long. I think this is a 1/4 inch long if I remember correctly. Again, getting my gapping right. Just trying to get everything dialed in so I have good, fairly consistent distance gaps throughout my bag, no big holes. Getting in the irons, I am Apex Pro throughout the bag. 5-iron through pitching wedge. Again, fairly standard here. Standard lofts on everything. 2 degrees flat. Again, I don't really like, I can turn it over. My bad swings can be big hooks, so don't want to do that. 2 degrees flat helps me get the right ball flight, consistent straight with just a tiny bit of fade. If you look at me, you probably don't think, wow, he needs 2 degrees flat from a swing perspective, but numbers look great on that. Again, we want to fit off ball flight. All the iron and all of the wedge shafts are UST Mamiya Recoil 110s. I have been using these for a long time. I've used a couple other iron shafts for a brief period of time, but I think I'm going on 12, 13 years with this, my go-to shaft. One thing I want to talk about that is, I know everybody likes to switch shafts over and over again, and it's cool. I get it. I like to test shafts as well, but when you find something that works for you, it's really great to stick with. This DI shaft is another great example. I've had this in virtually every 3-wood since this came out, and I'm guessing that's 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 years ago. Again, it's a great shaft. I know I can deliver it well. So it's again something I go back to, all recoil in those irons. 5 through pitching wedge. Get into my wedges. We'll start with a hole-in-one club. If you don't know, I made a hole-in-one recently, and I really love to talk about it. So Jaws full toe here. This is a 54 degree. Only difference here is 2 degrees flat. Really cool wear pattern there from lots of bunker shots and shots around the green. This one's getting replaced only because this one's going in a shadow box I'm putting together for the hole-in-one. 50 degree. This is a little old. Anthony Toronto stamped that up for me with my wife, my daughter's name. The only reason this is going out of the bag is I think it's now 3 years old. We've got some newer, better products, but the new 50S, new Jaws 50S will go in. It's a great versatile club. I use the blade type wedge because I hit a lot of chip shots around the green with this. Typically, if I miss a green, hopefully that doesn't happen too often, but when I do, I take all 3 wedges up and choose based on lie and shot. If you typically don't, if your gap wedge or approach wedge is a full shot club, I actually recommend you typically would match the set, but if you like more versatility, I'll even hit this out of the bunker sometimes, so I like that. My last wedge in the bag is a PM grind. Again, shout out to Anthony Toronto for the great stamping job. This is really my 60-yard in club. I almost never hit full shots with this. The only reason, I talk about versatility, I talk about gapping, talk about I want to make sure every club in your bag has a purpose. If you only get 14 of them, let's make sure they all work. But this one is so versatile around the greens and that 60 yards in. Really good data. Can hit tight lies, hit bunker shots, hit out a thick rough with that towel top line. So I really love that full toe, high PM grind look. We've got some new ones, not PM grind, but we have some new full toes. I'll look at those as those go on. That may come out of the bag at some point. For right now, it's staying in. Last but certainly not least is the Odyssey 2-ball 11S. Putting is the strongest part of my game. Those of you who played golf with me more than 4 years ago might be shocked by that. I put a lot of work in over COVID to really grind and make my putting game better, and now I've got really good data showing that this is my strongest attribute. So this is 34.5 inches, super stroke claw grip. I use kind of a saw or pencil grip. And interestingly, I've been using this grip for years, even before I switched the grips. I just always liked the squarish, rectangular look, but now it's even a little bit better with my grip, the grip I'm using now. But just great for me for alignment, consistency, everything about it's really cool. Last but not least is my golf ball. So I typically carry 6 to 9 of these Chrome Soft XLS golf balls, all with triple track. It is my go-to golf ball. Great spin profile, great speed off the driver, great spin profile. I talked earlier about high launch player. I'm also a fairly high spin player. So it gets that spin down in the middle irons, which is something that helps me control it. Doesn't balloon, because it certainly would if I got too much spin in there. But also around the greens, can really still check it, hit the shots I want to hit and need to hit, all with a big V for Vrska. So also I can find them when they do go a little astray. So that's my what's in the bag. I'd love to hear if any questions or how I might be able to help you get dialed in. Again, you want 14 clubs, the best gapping, the most versatility possible. I know I've got that. I'm super proud to be part of Team Callaway. Work there with a great, incredible organization, be able to get my clubs dialed in.